Welcome back to my stand-up channel. World Cup qualifier in Brazil is abandoned after public health officials storm pitch to detain 4 Argentina players, who all play in the Premier League, for dodging quarantine by failing to say they flew in from Britain. There were barely 9 minutes on the clock when Argentina walked from the pitch never to return, and a World Cup qualifier long riddled with tension and intrigue plumbed new depths of farce. Brazilian public health agents and federal police officers were milling around on the touchline, seemingly trying to identify Giovanni Lo Celso, Emi Martinez, Christian Romero and Emi Buendia. The 4 Argentina internationals based in the Premier League had, according to the authorities, entered Brazil illegally. The Argentina squad heading home right away, with the nation side's official Twitter account posting a picture of some of the players on board a plane with the caption, "We are going home." As reported exclusively by Sportsmail last week, they had falsified documents, failing to declare they had come from the UK and should be deported or at least in quarantine, in line with Brazilian COVID protocol. Within an hour, the game had been formally abandoned while still goalless. A statement from South American football governing body read, "The referee and the match commissioner will submit a report to the FIFA disciplinary committee, which will determine the steps to be followed. These procedures strictly adhere to current regulations. The World Cup qualifiers as a FIFA competition. All decisions concerning its organization and development are the exclusive power of that institution." Suddenly, the questions and the accusations flew, including from Argentina captain Lionel Messi. According to RMC Sport, Argentina's biggest star was heard saying, "We've been here for 3 days. We were waiting to play the match. Why didn't you come earlier? This is a mess, we're off. Who was in the right? Who was in the wrong? Was this foul play?" Argentina certainly thought so, as they refused to return to complete the game. Should it be rescheduled? If so, when? The season is already terribly congested. If so, would the Premier League quartet be involved? "It makes me very sad," said Argentina boss Lionel Scaloni. "If something happened or did not happen, it was not the time to make this intervention. It should have been a party for everyone, to enjoy the best players in the world. I would like the people of Argentina to understand that as a coach I have to defend my players. At no time were we notified that they could not play the match. We wanted to play the game. The players from Brazil too. This was a meeting between bitter South American rivals like no other, back in Brazil just 9 weeks after the Copa America final at the Maracanã, when Argentina won 1-0 and ended a 28-year wait for a major trophy. Preparations had been blighted by the travel bans and COVID restrictions in force from various governments. Particularly significant for the availability of English-based players, Brazil were without 11 of those originally selected by Boss Tite, 9 of them, from Premier League clubs, not released to avoid the strict 10-day quarantine on their return, and 2 players from Zenit St. Petersburg, who were recalled by their club in the hope they would be able to enter the UK and play against Chelsea in the Champions League next week. Argentina's squad, in contrast, was full strength because Aston Villa struck a deal for Martinez and Buendia to travel despite the quarantine on their return, and Lo Celso and Romero joined them in defiance of Tottenham. However, less than 4 hours before kickoff in Sao Paulo, there was a fresh twist. Brazil's health agency Anvisa issued a statement claiming the 4 Argentina players had entered the country illegally when they arrived from Venezuela on Friday because they failed to declare they had been within the UK within the previous 14 days, thus breaking a porteria, an entry rule, created at the height of concern about the Delta variant. According to the porteria 655, anyone who has been in the UK, India or South Africa must quarantine for 14 days. As the game was held up, Anvisa director Antonio Barra Torres went live on Globo TV in Brazil. to explain that the federal police had gone to the Argentina team hotel earlier in the day and ordered the 4 English-based players not to take part in the game but, instead, to enter quarantine. The issue swirled around behind the scenes, but the squad left as planned for the Neoquímica Arena and took to the pitch. Buendia, Villa's record signing, did not make the bench, but the other 3 started for Argentina for Scaloni's team. The players walked out, stood to observe the national anthems, and the game got underway, but very little happened. Aside from a crunching Romero tackle, before the health agents and federal police began to appear on the touchline. Venezuelan referee Jesus Valenzuela stopped the game and the discussions intensified, and the Argentina team walked off the pitch, back down the tunnel and back to their dressing room. The Brazilians remained on the pitch, advised not to leave so no one could accuse them of forfeiting the contest. Further down the line, Scaloni and Captain Messi reappeared. In and out of good-natured talks with Brazilian starman Neymar, Captain Casemiro, manager Tite and sporting director Juninho Paulista, the former Middlesbrough talisman. Players mingled in the tunnel, many of them smiling and joking. Outside, the farce unfolded before a crowd limited to just 1,500 invited guests. There was no sign of Martinez, Lo Celso, Romero or Buendia, the players at the center of the problem. About 45 minutes after the game was halted, the Brazil players were called together in a large huddle on the pitch by Tite. Soon afterwards, came confirmation that the qualifier would not be played. At least not on this day. Brazil assembled for a training session on the pitch and Argentina prepared to leave the stadium under police escort. A statement was released by CONMEBOL, the governing body of South American football, to say that the match referee and match commissioner would submit a report to FIFA's disciplinary committee. This was a FIFA competition, they added, and the next step would be down to them. Source: dailymail.co.uk. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching.